How's it going, and welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Sonicake Matribox 2. But before we do, as always, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video. So, the Matribox. First of all, to talk about a bit about Sonicake. So Sonicake is now the fourth brand, I think, to reach out to me to ask me to review equipment. So I've not been paid to make this demo, but they have given me this unit and I have agreed to review it, and I'll give my honest opinion about it, and they're comfortable with that. So what this is a multi-effects unit, and a budget multi-effects unit, because I think it's about €240. And it's really impressive. Like, straight out of the gate, Sonicake have done the thing that I think is most important with any multi-effects unit. They've built in great functionality into it. It's just really, really well thought out, and I really like how it works. It's not a touch screen. I don't need a touch screen. I've never needed a touch screen. I can use it with the buttons and the knobs. So effectively what it is, it's an amp modeler and effects unit all in one. You've got 3 switches that you can set to do a multitude of things. You've got an expression pedal. You've got 3 knobs to control parameters of any particular thing that you want to control at one moment in time. You've got a master volume. You've got like an encoder dial here, which allows you to select things. Sorry, I'm trying to look at it and look at the camera to make sure it's on screen. Then you have these 9 buttons across the front, and they turn on and off things like the amp modeling, the cab modeling, the noise reduction, effects pre the amp, effects post the amp, reverb, delay, stuff like that, and you can turn them on and off individually with these little switches. And also when you hit one of these switches, it goes into the screen to edit that particular effect. So that's the kind of basis of what it is. I mean, it's similar to a lot of other multi-effect and amp modeler units that are out in the market, especially from the Far East, similar sort of layout and stuff, but it's made of like really, really rugged metal. It's got a plastic back in it, but the top is all metal. It feels really solid. It's quite heavy actually. And it's got really nice soft touch switches. And then the other thing that I'm really amazed about for this with the price point, right? So say compared to, for example, a Boss GT1, which this would definitely be a competitor for. First of all, it has an external foot switch. I'll just go around to the back here, right? So here it has an external foot switch / second expression pedal input. So you can attach another 2 foot switches, another 2 buttons to control things, or you can attach a second expression pedal to control things. Then you've got your guitar input. Then you've got a send and return. Now, putting a send and return on a multi-effects unit changes it completely for me, right? Because it allows you to take your own outboard pedals and run them in the signal chain of the unit. Which also allows on patch changes from patch to patch, you can take those pedals in and out of your signal chain. So you can have one patch one patch where you've got no overdrive pedals on, you hit another switch, you can have a completely different signal chain with the overdrive pedal on. And in that way, an effects loop is a game changer on a small multi-effects affordable unit like this for me. So well done to Sonicake for including an effects loop. Total game changer. And I'll explain why. This is going to be the first of 3 videos I'm going to make about this unit. The third video will be where I make it as part of a pedal board, and that's where the effects loop will become so apparent. Then you have a left and right output. So just, quarter inch out. It doesn't have XLRs out. For this price, I don't think you can expect XLRs out. You can just run it into a dual DI box, in my opinion, if you want to do that. If you want to run it a balanced signal into a PA. Then there's a headphones out. There's also an aux in, so you can plug in your phone or whatever and jam along with stuff. There's a USB-C, which is nice. And then there's MIDI in and out, which again, at this price point, I'm really impressed at. And they are on those little 1/8" or 3mm headphone jacks, right? When I say headphone jacks, they're not headphone sockets, they're just the size of a headphone jack. So if you, for example, right, if I combine this with, say, a Boss OD200, I could, which is a MIDI programmable overdrive pedal, I could put the OD200 in the loop, use MIDI on a patch-by-patch basis to select different overdrive or distortion or fuzz models on the OD200, and basically with this unit and the OD200 beside it, and maybe the extra foot switch, have a completely and utterly capable rig that I can run the signal chain the way I want to. I can go direct if I want to. I can not use amp models and go into an amp if I want to. Also, there's this functionality where you're able to say cab modeling is on one output but not the other. So you could run one output to the front of house and one output to a monitoring solution on stage, like an effects loop return on an amp or just a power cab kind of thing. So this, for however much it costs, which I think is pretty affordable, like 200 to 250 or something like that, functionality wise is completely specced out. I'm really impressed with that. Really, really liking it. For the things it can do. Like, I couldn't use a Boss GT1 in the way that I want to use one of these little units. I can use this one for a number, because of the MIDI and because of the effects loop, neither of which are present on the GT1. So in that way, it's very impressive. The amp models that I've tried so far, I'm not a big amp modeling guy. Generally, I find 1 or 2, 3 amp models that I want to use for different sounds and I stick to them. But there's a massive long list of amp models, and I've gone through a few of them, and some of them are really, really nice. The effects, the drive pedals in particular, I found very, very pleasing. Reverbs and delays are not at the standard of, say, Line 6 HX effects, unfortunately, but I think for the price you're paying for this, you can't expect them to be. The modulation effects are all really nice. So all in all, like a really well featured unit, and especially in terms of functionality, it's going to be it's going to replace the Digitech RP360 that I have currently on my little flyboard. Definitely going to be a much better solution than that, though it is significantly heavier than it, which is a consideration when you're flying. I suppose the first thing to do then is let's take a listen to it. Okay, so for the audio demo, all I'm doing is guitar, radio lead into the Matribox 2, and then straight out of mono output on the left into and channel in my interface, right? It's a super simple setup. The first thing I always do when I get a new multi-effects unit, and I really do love multi-effects units, I love exploring them. I want to explore a number of different things, as I talked about in the intro. Usable tone, in terms of like bass amp sound, then quality of effects is the next thing, and then after that is functionality. So how is the switching work? How does the, how can I use the expression pedal using the effects loop? I'm not demonstrating the effects loop in this video. I'm going to make another video where I incorporate it into a pedal board and show how I use the effects loop. So, to get started, the other thing is, most guitar players I find online when they get a new modelling unit, they always go straight to a Fender Deluxe or a Fender Twin. That's really not my thing at all. My clean sounds to be based on a Bassman or a JTM 45. So the first thing I always do is go try the Bassman model, try the JTM 45 model, see which of them I prefer, and work with that. So in this instance on the Matribox 2, the Bassman bright input is the sound that I immediately just thought, yeah, I can use that straight away. And the JTM 45 is very good as well. Just the Bassman was just a little bit brighter than I needed. And also the reason I'm using this Telecaster, which is just a Mexican standard Telecaster, it's a kind of a classic series one, for a 60s style Telecaster from about 7 or 8 years ago. The reason I'm using this is I find that the brightness of a Telecaster is a really good place to try and see, like, the guitar is so bright, if the modeler can make it sound good, it's probably going to be able to make a Les Paul or a thin line Telecaster with humbuckers or something like that sound good. So if you can make a Telecaster sound good, it'll make anything sound good. I also really love Telecasters. So starting on the bridge pickup on the Bassman sound, all I have on here, as you can see, is the cab, the amp, and a bit of reverb. Need to tune. So to use a tuner, I have set foot switches as this. I just hold down this foot switch and I get this lovely big tuner. My G's a little flat. So I guess that's a good way of showing it's got a really good usable tuner. I'm going to turn myself up a little bit. So straight away, that's a really usable starting point for me. Really dynamic. So I play lightly, see? And then if I dig in, it's got a little bit of breakage. Nice and bright. which means if I want to darken up, I can roll off my tone knob. I'll just say, so how this works is, right, so I'll flip over to the pedal cam now. So you start off in this, well, this is just a pedal board view, right? So, or the signal chain view. So what you do is you move this wheel around until you get to different modules, okay? And you click on with the wheel. And so I'm in the basement bright amp model. And then if you hit the switch again, you get like, so you get the gain, presence, and volume. And then if you hit it again, you get the bass, middle, and treble. So there's two screens. That's what these little dots here annotate. It's the number of menu items that are available. Okay, so then if I go out of that by hitting exit, I go back to my signal chain, I go to the cab, and I'm using a basement 210. Okay, exit that. Oh, by the way, there's a cab link thing that says whatever amp you select, it'll automatically default to the the cab that goes with the amp. You can turn that on and off in global settings. And then over to the reverb, I just have a spring reverb on, okay, and I don't have a lot of it on, so here you can hear it. Middle pickup, neck pickup. And that is basically the kind of clean sound that I would start with on a basic preset. So in showing the other things, I have a noise reducer here that I don't need at this point in time. So I'm going to scroll along now. On effects 1, I have a fat boost, right? So what that sounds like is like this. I'll just go back out to my main menu for a sec. I can just turn it on here. Effects 1 turns on. On. Off. So it's basically an overdrive pedal. That's great for... So if I turn that off and turn on effects 2, I have the full OD here, which is like an OCD tone, which is a heavy overdrive sound. You can see I have the gain backed only at 16, so I use the amp without the pedal on as a bit of drive in it, and this just pushes it into a lovely overdrive. And then I can combine the two of them by turning on the fat boost with that. Heavy overdrive sound, or I can use it for my lead tone. Okay, so that's the different overdrive options that are available to me. Moving on then, there is the amp noise reduction cab, which we've talked about. I'm not using the noise, I do have the noise reduction on at the moment actually. There's an EQ block here, so if I go into that lead sound again, right, I can set the EQ block to be a mid push. It's just a 3-band EQ, I think. There's a mod section which I have a tremolo on here. Which for some reason isn't tremoling. I don't know why that is, it was working. It was working a few minutes ago. The rate is good. Okay, I'll explain this now. I have somehow inadvertently assigned the mix of the tremolo or the modulation section to the expression pedal, which I only intended to do for the delay, okay? But if I push it forward, if I turn off the delay for a sec. So that's the modulation. There's all sorts of different modulation there. I'm not going to go into them here. I'm just kind of showing you how I set up a basic preset first of all. So then onto the delay. I have the Bucket Brigade delay selected. If I push this forward, I've selected the delay mix to be on the expression. The more I push it forward, the more mix there is. So, one thing I will say about the unit is, I'm not a big reverb user, but I am a big delay user. The delays are fine. I've not spent a huge amount of time with them, which I have to set, like, you know, say that up front. But I wasn't blown away by the quality of delays. It's the only thing that I've been a little bit kind of, okay, not amazing. Now, I am used to delays off the 9.6 HX effects, which are absolutely spectacular. And also, I use the TC Electronic Plethora X3 on my other board. Both have, you know, really good quality delays. Delays here are a little bit of a letdown straight out of the gate. Not bad, like. I'm going to explore them a little bit further. So that's the delay, and then the reverb we're already spoken about. So that's all the different effects that I would use in this patch, right? So that's one thing to talk about. Then the other thing I'm going to talk about quickly is functionality. So if I hit this button, if I hit this button, exit, to go back to, and then I go to my preset settings, you scroll the knob, you get the preset settings, you hit it here. I can control what the knobs do, I can control what the expression pedal does, and I can control what the control switches, which are these, and I'll explain that in a second. The knob settings is fine, I'm not really worried about them. It's the expression settings. So if I hit this, it has, you can see the delay. Expression 1A is the delay mix. If I get down to expression 1B, there's nothing there, so I don't know why the tremolo is assigned to it. And expression 2 is the other expression pedal. So there's something weird going on there that I haven't figured out yet. But delay is only supposed to control the mix of the delay, okay? So if I exit that, go back into preset settings and go to control settings. So here you can see I'm on control 1. This is control 1, control 2, and control 3. On control 1, I'm just controlling effects 1, which is kind of the boost. If I go down then onto control 2, I'm controlling the OCD pedal, and control 3, I'm controlling the tremolo effect, okay? So, in terms of switching, I've set all this up previously, obviously, right? So, if I go back to my preset here. Okay, right now, the way I have it set up is this is a preset, this is a preset, and this is a preset. So far, I've only designed this raw basement preset. So if I was going to use this in a sort of covers context, what I would do is I would set up 3 presets. I'd set up a clean, a dirty, and a sort of a heavy preset. And then with each one of them, I hold down this control switch and it changes it into stompbox mode. So once the blue lights are on, the 3 pedals that I've assigned are off. So if I'm playing and I want a boost, I can hit the first switch. Or I can hit a drive pedal. Both. And I can turn on my tremolo. Control the depth with the expression pedal. Or I can turn off my tremolo, turn on my delays on all the time, and with my delay, phase it in, or fade it in. And that would give me enough control on that patch without any external foot switches or anything to get through a gig using the clean kind of sounds I'd need to use, which is really well thought out. And this is everything for me. You know, can I actually use the thing in a live situation with the way it's set up? So what I would do then, if I'm playing a song that didn't need that particular bass sound, I would simply hold this, go back to preset mode, switch to the next one, which for some reason isn't working. I didn't set it to preset, but I would switch to the next sound and the next sound, and then once I get into that sound, I would simply go to pedal mode, and then I'd have my bass and sound, and I'd have my other effects available to me. So top level, it really is a very usable unit that has usable sounds. And it's the most impressed I've been with one of these sort of affordable, including the expression pedal kind of units. I think with all its functionality that it has and the ins and outs, it's going to be a really useful little bit of kit, so I'm really impressed. So there you go, the Matribox 2 from Sonicake. Thank you very much, Sonicake, for sending this out. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this little box. Overall, I'm pretty impressed, I gotta say. You know, there's one thing actually, I don't think, the expression pedal doesn't have a toe switch on it, from what I can see, which is fine by me. I don't need a toe switch on my expression pedal. So I think if you're looking for what appears like an entry-level multi-effects unit, but it's actually, because of the functionality and the ins and outs and stuff that are on it, really, really, really usable unit with good sounds, well thought out, good user interface, good functionality in terms of being able to assign the foot switches to do what you want them to do. It has the effects loop, it has a MIDI. It's a great unit. I'm really impressed. Well done, Sonicake. So if you're looking for like an affordable multi-effects unit as like a backup rig, or, you know, you can complement this with some pedals and make it your main rig, no problem. Check it out. The next video I'm going to go through like setting up 3 different presets and switching between them and how to use this in a live context when you need to use multiple sounds. And then the third video I'm going to make will be building a pedal board using this as the brains of that pedal board. So we'll probably have the presets one next week and then the pedal board one the week after. So stay tuned, because I think this is a really usable unit that has a lot of different potential. So there you go. Thank you again, Sonicake, for sending this out to me. Really liking it. The Sonicake Matribox 2. Great little unit. So thanks for watching, as always. And if you've watched this far, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe, because obviously if you've watched this far, you like what you're seeing. This is generally the kind of content that I make. If you have any questions or comments, please fire them down in the comment section below. And hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.